There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to the Mudhorn Clan cast on the Fangirl Zone. I'm Steve.
I'm Beskar Dave, and today we're talking about episode 10 of season 1 of Andor, titled One Way Out, written by Tony Gilroy and Bo Williman, and directed by Toby Haynes.
I'm Shawn Fangirl, and everything Dave just said.
All right, Dave, what do you think of this episode?
Another masterclass.
Yes.
Pretty amazing. I mean, wow. I heard someone mention that the escape scene was 16 minutes long. I don't know how. I must have lived and died 100 times during that. I'm like, come on.
Yes.
It felt like way longer than that.
Yeah, it did. There was other things going on in that episode, but holy smokes. The stakes were so great. I was like totally enthralled. I loved it.
Shawn?
I agree. It was so intense. This had more of a movie feel than I think any of them so far because of that scene. And it was just, like Dave said, so much going on and you were so invested in it. And whenever anything bad happened to the prisoners, you're like, oh God, no. At least I was. And like the acting with everything that was happening there, I was blown away. And seriously, Andy Serkis, because we don't get to see Andy's actual face very often,
right,
in shows, he was amazing. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
truly.
They better win something for this episode for sure, if not for the series.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. I thought Dino's speech was amazing, especially after Cassian kind of poked him with a stick.
That's all you got?
Yep. And of course, Mon Mothma got put in about the most impossible situation you can imagine is, no, I don't want money. I want your daughter for my boy. What?
That's kind of messed up. Honestly, Steve, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in. Because of the whole thing with Cassian, I almost forgot about everything else until you brought that up, because then it's like, oh yeah, that was like serious. And maybe that's why we don't see our daughter anymore.
Yeah.
Like in the future, maybe that saved her. Who knows?
When Davo said that to her, I could feel like icicles from Stargill's hand on my shoulder. What? So here's a quick episode recap for y'all. A rare opportunity opens, and the time for Cassian and his fellow inmates is to act when? Now.
Well, yeah, because Cassian does start with "it's time," and you know he means business, but man, that's like all chilling, right? And I'm sorry, they keep showing everybody's feet being barefoot, and I'm like, I'm cold every time they do that. Sorry. For a beat in the episode, when we have Cassian say it's time, everything comes to a screeching halt. Like, you can hear a pin drop, and everybody's kind of looking at each other, and you know, and I say everyone, meaning like all of us, because we don't have a lot happening on the screen at that moment. So it just felt like time stopped. And it was like, oh my God, what? I don't know about you, but yeah, shoulders to my earlobes, basically, for most of this. So Kino and the others in the block expressed some last minute hesitation, but moved to work through it. And that was pretty much amazing too, when Kino's like, we're all going to die. They're not letting us out. When he finally decided to step up and say it. Because I think there was still that moment where he's like, no, it can't be real.
If you were in New England, you'd break out the old saying that's, well, I guess the sun rises over Marblehead.
Yeah.
Andor does reiterate they're not getting out. 5,000 are about to find out that it doesn't matter if you finish your sentence. You're going to be funneled right back until you drop. And Diego Luna's performance imbues Andor with deep empathy, something that the character can't avoid expressing any longer, which... Do we think that this is the actual moment that turned his head and he's like, I gotta be all in with the rebellion?
Yep.
And well, that's why this show is his. Andor acts as a conduit to amplify what everyone's feeling and express it, making them realize they're much stronger together. The truth he speaks is raw. He'd rather die taking them down than die giving them what they want. Because whatever they're making, they really need it. Those are all pieces for the Death Star, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're heat transfer units. They have to spin and dispense the heat once that beam fires off.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I could think of.
Time is of the essence, as this is juxtaposed with Deidre Miro and Patrigaz looking at the success of their stage strike to lure out Krieger. Oh my god, that whole thing too. It's like I was so focused on the prison break, basically. Another high-ranking Imperial Security Bureau officer, Lonnie Jung, steps ahead of Deidre in her moment to suggest that they act as usual to not draw any attention to what they know. You feel the anger rising in Deidre that she's getting undermined every step of the way. Although I thought that was kind of a good idea.
Right.
Still,
Not realizing.
guy didn't even take Partagas or didn't even take the report from her. Blew her off.
That's true. It's like misogyny abounds.
For her, they wouldn't have made all that progress at all.
That's true. And unknowingly, she was they were all helping the rebels until she stepped up. Surely she's going off to torture somebody to cope with whatever's happening.
Her assistant.
Maybe it's Karn, who we don't get to see this episode. Back at the prison, it's when Kino finally steps in to take charge that the shit gets real. And it makes sense. He's been the block's de facto leader as a supervisor for we don't know how long. Trust was built on this man. They have seen how strong they are in their workflow with this man. And they know they're more capable than the guards with their buzz stick. It's like, this will hurt. So it's really when Kino says it's time and to make it look good. It's like, okay, they're ready to go. They go through the motions of being on program, but no, they trust each other more than the lazy Empire gives them credit for. A power they have over an organization that's about pecking order and doing the least to win the most. Let's go Star Wars Prison Break. There aren't too many moments outside of the main event unfolding on Narkina 5, but we do get a glimpse of our girl Cinta realizing that Andor's mother is being watched, which I thought was interesting, and I really thought she was going to screw up and go over there though. Everyone on Ferrix is waiting for Andor's return. It's like, okay guys, I don't think he's coming back though.
I think he's coming back.
You think so?
I think
Yeah.
he will. Yep.
Andor ties this universe together. He's a man without Jedi powers and just a practical know-how about the way the world works. And no, he's not the only person like this. The show does an excellent job saying that there are people like Andor scattered across the galaxy who can radicalize those around them and push back against the Empire. Power to the people.
Meanwhile, on Coruscant, Mon Mothma meets with that Chandrillian thug with deep pocket. Davo Skulden should be scumbag.
You know what? I was actually thinking that. That's so funny, Steve.
Immediately, you can tell that Davo is new money as he looks around at the status Mon doesn't have to flaunt. Without saying a word, you can tell he covets it. His opener about how the indulgence of great wealth is freedom from other people's opinions had me cringing so hard where this was going to go, because it was clear he wasn't going to ask for money from the jump. Not sure why Mon thought it would be that, as she insisted with Tay she would rather the transaction be financial. Davo reassures her that the cost of dodging the Imperial law is challenging, but interference is avoidable. He's a gambler. He would know, and he requires no fee to help her charity work. Turns over a new leaf by referencing the importance of Chandrillian tradition, and you can see Mon freeze as she realizes it's a personal cost. Davo wants higher standing and to better his reputation, and he'd sure like to bring his son to meet her daughter Lita, since they're around the same age. Marrying age, that is. Mon immediately declines in horror, but Davo reminds her that their positions make choices for them and that she should think about it. No matter how bratty Lita is, Mon clearly does not want to put her through what she herself went through. Over at Luthen's, Leia delivers a message that one of their contacts wants to meet face to face. She's obviously perturbed at the timing right after Aldhani and the new Imperial regulations, and he insists he let her go do it. Luthen takes it in stride and points out it's surprising whoever it is waited a year to reach out.
Luthen's getting a little darker and darker, too. He's like, whatever, I know we're going to die.
Yep.
So as work continues to be done as if nothing was brewing, the prisoners grapple with their fate and what they have to do. They remind each other that there's only one way out as Andor chips away at the bathroom pipe. At this point, my anxiety was through the roof as the new prisoner was lowered in. The cuts to the scene were so expertly assembled as the perfect storm of events begins to unfold. Yeah, take that, Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
I don't think I took a breath from Andor creating a flood to fry the frying floors when activated the stage fight to create a distraction. The new men of floor getting lowered until the lift was broken. And the skirmishes to find ways to overpower the guards and attack that was not without sacrifice and solidarity. I know. It hurt to see some of the guys not make it. Gears and tools and bodies moved to overpower two men with blaster. It was stunning to see the tools of the oppressors taken and seeing the Imperial rent-a-cops cower in fear of the might of 5,000 men. Instantly became mall cops after that.
But especially when that one point you see that room and you hear the one like, don't say anything. They're just all sitting there with like the pieces that they were giving to the prisoners, basically.
Yeah, whatever doubles as a broom closet in the far future.
Right.
So the breakout spreads like wildfire. Prisoners alert other prisoners propelled by the swell of Nicholas Britell's singular score. Kino and Andor make it to the command center. The prisoner announcer guard, it's funny if you go on IMDb, by the way, they call it the voice of God. The prisoner announcer guard and his minions realize they are over their heads, never having had to deal with any sort of fight, so they fold pretty quickly. They shut down the prison and hold the guards in the command center hostage while Kino announces what to do. Really, give Serkis an award for making Kino one of the most memorable new characters in Star Wars. I heard people talking, just as a quick aside, about Emmy moments
Right.
for Andy Serkis and Stellan Skarsgård. Like, boy, send them the tape right now.
Yep.
Right?
You could have been moved to tears during this stirring monologue about how they control the facility now. The freedom is within reach, and they have to fight hard as they've been working for what they got this. He was like Winston Churchill fighting on the air, the sand, and the beach.
Yep.
I thought this was really funny, though, because the moment where they tell the one guy to turn off the hydropower, he's like, but it'll take months to get back up. Dude,
I know.
Read the room. Okay, look around here.
You want to live another day.
Right. And the other guard's like, really?
He's worried about the air conditioning.
Right.
So the power of knowledge through word of mouth in community over propaganda is powerful. Chanting one way out as they escaped was cathartic to see while the guards cowered and hid. I really hope I didn't wake up my neighbor screaming at the screen when they jumped into the sea of freedom. And
I was looking at those stairs and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the saddest moments in Star Wars happens when Kino says he can't swim. And before Andor can help, he's pushed over the edge. I wonder why Kino didn't get pushed over. He's just standing there, too.
I'm assuming he did and somebody helped him, but I don't know.
I don't know. So it was Serkis's bittersweetly heroic moment of looking at everyone as they were freed, accepting his fate. It's a kind of a tragic win. In the episode's last act reveal, we find out the ISB officer Lonnie is a double agent. What? Yes, that guy who turns out was trying to thwart Dedra. He's the one who wanted to meet with Luthen, and he wants out. Naturally, they always want out. But he gets his whole life read up and down by Luthen, who knows Lonnie as a daughter and a family, and because of them, there's no way out. Luthen doesn't blink an eye at sacrificing lives. There's a stark contrast to Mon's humanity. In March to Turn, where the rebellion means two different things for these leaders, while Luthen's not quite at the burn it all down level, he's losing touch for sure. Lonnie tells Dedra is on to the middleman they call Axis and the thief, but Luthen doesn't care. Yeah, he is really, I won't say he's going to the dark side, but man, he's fatalistic.
Yep.
He won't let Lonnie quit and asks him to encourage the search. It's madness, and Skarsgård delivers a tour de force as he reveals why this is his endgame. To him, no one can be spared. It was like chilling and inspirational at the same time.
Yeah.
In his brevity, as opposed to a Churchillian speech, it was like Lincoln at Gettysburg. This is what's going to happen. Krieger's men will die, so Lonnie's kid will have a dad, and he assures Lonnie his double life is valuable.
That was rough. He's like, oh yeah, so 50 guys will die, so you'll live, and your kid will have their father. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to flippant.
You have to wear undergarments. No, I guess that depends or not.
Yeah.
Oh.
But what does Luthen have to lose? To him, he's already lost it all. He's damned already because his ego set him on a path to be a savior and destroy himself for others to have a future. Ouch. He knows he won't see the rebellion he's investing in He tells Lonnie to stay with it because he needs all the heroes he can get. At least that was a nice touch. You
Yeah.
keep him going. You're a hero. Am I?
It's like, and now bye. And then hits
Yeah.
the button, sends him off.
Do you guys get a Batman feel when you saw him standing on the
In the shadows.
yes with the cape flapping in
Yeah.
the woods? I'm like, oh look, Batman's here.
Is that or Darth
he
Vader?
was a
And it's
little
like, wait.
Bruce Wayne in his speech, that's for sure.
Yeah, you do that Stargirl episode also, and of course there was a Batman reference in that too.
Yep.
So who's up for some Easter eggs?
Easter
That's good.
egg.
Easter eggs, not even Easter. Cassian Andor's prison is in the shape of the Imperial logo. Because that's just to rub it in, I think.
Yep.
Episode 10 reveals the Empire's prison isn't in the shape of the Imperial logo. Man, who designs these things? At first glance, it seems to be nothing more than a cool Star Wars Easter egg, but it's actually a powerful image representing the kind of system the Emperor has built across the galaxy. The Empire is a prison where every person has been assigned their place and they are kept under control by fear. Hope of change, hope of escape is nothing more than an illusion. When the Empire considers a person's usefulness to be over, they are killed. In Palpatine's view, there's only one way out of the Empire, death. Cassian Andor's escape shows the only real way to break the Empire, however. He understands that the Empire does not watch everything, indeed cannot watch everything. Palpatine created a planet-sized supercomputers to monitor the galaxy, and he both established and empowered the Imperial Security Bureau to monitor for any potential threats. But even under these, under-resourced compared to the sheer size of the galaxy. No wonder they want to raise taxes on everything.
Yeah.
All that's needed for rebellions to happen is for the people to realize there is no way the Empire can control everything. Yep, get past your fear. Once communication begins, the system begins to break down. True rebellion will finally happen when people leave the Imperial system, just as the escaping prisoners leap into the waters.
I thought it was kind of interesting with the whole prison break and everything. They're talking about like, oh, they're not watching everything. The people outside don't know what's happening. That a lot of like what's going on in the real world.
Right.
Too. It's like we don't know everything that's happening to insert pretty much anything.
Right.
You know, because if you're not part of it, you don't know. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting how they were, and then it actually caused a very long conversation with my husband and I about various things. But I thought, them actually putting that out there. It's like, you know what? We don't know. We don't know what's happening with any kind of prison reforms and stuff. So
Nope.
I just thought that was really a nice little moment in there to be like, think about it, people. Think.
I was listening to something about it recently, and we've never heard of Luthen before, and somebody had the idea that wouldn't have been cool if the medals that Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and the Wookiee, what's the Wookiee's name?
Chewbacca.
Yeah, got the a Luthen medal. We just don't know. We didn't know the names.
Right.
That'd be cool. Wouldn't that be cool?
One of the moments in Luthen in his shop, I was like, wait a minute, is that one of Padme's headpieces?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was.
I had to go back and look at him like, hold on a second. So I just thought that was a cool little, like, hey, look at me.
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff in that shop.
Oh, yeah.
So episode 10 features a beautiful moment in which Luthen speaks to his informant inside the ISB, one of the most powerful scenes in Disney's Star Wars era to date. I'd also heard that Tony Gilroy was offered a lot of Star Wars stuff. He just kept saying no, no, and no until he came up with his own idea of just resurrecting these characters and starting new ones as a prequel. I'm glad he's back then.
Yep.
Stellan Skarsgård, mysterious rebel leader, has often seemed like something of a Palpatine figure, but here he looks like Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back, compelling others to serve the fledgling rebel alliance. Luthen is fully aware he has become everything he opposes, however, admitting he sees this as a necessary evil if the Empire is to be defeated. Ironically, though, Luthen is unwittingly showing why Palpatine did not fear rebellion. The Emperor understood there's another dimension to this struggle, battling the Force between light and dark. As I don't even miss that.
No.
I mean, having the Force and the Jedi, this is such a great perspective. As Star Wars The Clone Wars co-creator Dave Filoni explained in The Art of the Mandalorian, the Force naturally exists in balance. That balance is thrown out when someone chooses to give in to their fears and then spirals out of control, making a selfless choice after selfless choice. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate leads to suffering. The choice between dark and light is often subtle and is not limited to just Jedi and Sith. Everyone struggles with their balance between light and dark. Wow, this is a real masterclass in philosophy.
Yes.
Palpatine would not fear Luthen's rebellion precisely because Luthen was working within the system the Emperor had created, employing the tools of the dark side: fear, anger, hatred, suffering. Luthen is as much a creature of the Imperial system as the people he has killed. That's kind of bitter. Luthen's speech foreshadows a Rogue One and the dawn of hope. Yes, Luthen seems aware of this, however. He knows he's the creature of the dark, and he believes he is fighting for a dawn he will never see. The dawn will break in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, when Jyn Erso reminds the galaxy that rebellions are built on hope instead of fear. The brilliant light of day will come when the Skywalker twins, the new hope who will inspire the galaxy to rise up against the Empire. Luke and Leia will stand in the light side of the Force, refusing to take the Empire's weapons into their own hands, instead believing there is another way. Leia will lose her homeworld of Alderaan, yet she will continue fighting out of hope. Maybe that's where Luthen was vacationing. Fighting out of hope rather than hatred. Luke will be tempted by the dark side, but he will ultimately sit down his lightsaber and trust in the power of redemptive love. Luthen's longed-for dawn and day will come. I don't know how much the show can ask of us, and I'm going to bring tears to my own eyes. Did you notice that Prison Break's colors a hint of the coming rebellion? It's easy to miss, but Episode 10's Prison Break actually shows the colors of rebellion in Star Wars Galaxy. Andor and his fellow inmates are wearing white and orange uniforms, and they seem vaguely reminiscent of the worn by those pilot Alliance, totally by Luke Skywalker himself. This is the birth of a true rebellion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I noticed the orange and white, but I didn't even think to put two and two together with that.
Yeah, tie it to the.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I know we just got a little bit more before we can discuss more, but I was trying to figure out where all of this was fitting in the timeline too. I know it's obviously before Rogue One, and we know Leia's actually in play at this point from Rebels as a child, but it's like, okay, where exactly are we? I'm like still confused. Are we still like way at the beginning of, say, Rebels happening? Because we're after Order 66. Do you guys have an idea?
Well,
I'm like trying to piece it together. This was a very long conversation, by the way, with my husband and I. We were trying to figure this out.
It's hard to backtrack. That's what the internet's for.
Yeah.
You Google it. But, well, I heard mention that Jyn Erso is out there, but she should be in her middle to late teens.
Right.
And Luke and Leia, they're not that far from this the Emperor's weapon being destroyed, because ultimately I've been thinking recently that it's like 2 years to go, and they're using the 2 years as these 2 seasons, because after the end of season 2 they'll be getting the plans in Rogue One,
right,
and then hand them off to Princess Leia. So obviously she's out there too, and I know she's part of the Senate, right?
Yes.
Eventually. So we're not that far away, and Luke should be staring at the, twin suns and still being bummed that he's stuck on a dirt planet in a water farm.
Right.
We can't be that far away from it all.
That's why this just gets confusing, how they all overlap. It's like, where are we?
Yeah. And Darth Vader should be out there. If we have Empire Palpatine, then he should be out there too, really.
Especially with everything happening. I'm shocked we haven't seen more from any of the series, because when we had Forrest Whitaker pop up, it's like, okay, so we know basically where we are, because he's not a young man, which they do see him at one point in Rebels as a young man. So it's like, all right, where are we? It's like just trying to wrap my head around it. So if anybody knows exactly where we are and I maybe just completely missed it, please let us know. But now that I took us off track, there's still a little bit more Easter egg for you.
Yeah, we close out with Cassian and Melshi escape together at the end. It's fitting then that episode 10 ends with the focus on 2 particular escaping prisoners, Cassian Andor and the other key rebel from Rogue One, a Star Wars story, Ruskat Melshi. These 2 prisoners are the heroes Luthen is looking for. 2 men will become agents of the dawn Luthen will not see. Episode 10 continues the path to the fateful mission to Scarif, where a group of heroes gave their lives to tell the galaxy how to destroy the Death Star.
Yeah, at first I was freaked out. I'm like, wait, only 2 of them made it?
Yeah.
My husband's like, no, they have a major storyline. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the ships, or like drone ships, looking for everybody in the deep distance with like searchlights?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I missed that. Probably because I was looking at the beach thinking, oh my God, something's going to blow up.
If that was me on a beach, I'd step on a seashell for sure. Ow. That always happens. I think as far as you're continuing your thought, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he should be a much older man by now, too, which puts the events of that previous series, Obi-Wan, before what we're seeing right now.
Like way ahead.
Yeah, about 15 years.
Yeah.
Ay.
That should help. And then, of course, the Mandalorian comes after. Okay,
I got
Shawn?
you thinking about it too hard now.
Write it down. So, wrapping that up. How about some ratings? You want to go first, Shawn? Do you have a rating for us?
Oh my gosh. I give it 4.5 out of 5 doggy paddles. I just really liked it, and the whole thing that was happening, it was like so intense.
I got something similar, but go ahead, Steve. You have a rating?
Yep, I gave it 4.5 out of 5. Only one way to learn to swim.
We're all thinking the same thing.
That's a rough way to do it.
I'm going to go full bore fanboy and give it 5 out of 5 Kino swimming lessons.
I'm thinking, did anybody say, hey, when you jump in, cross your legs so that way you don't have a super wedgie? You know? Because that was a pretty high height.
Make like a pencil and hold your nose. Bye.
Yep. Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts on each and every episode this season. Our deadline for feedback is 6 p.m. Eastern every Friday during the season. You can send your feedback via email or audio to contact us at fangirlzone.com.
Please review and rate us on iTunes and any other platform you use for your podcast with good ratings and reviews. It helps other fans of the show find us, as there are plenty of other Star Wars podcasts out there. Tell your friends, and I hope you're enjoying our podcast, and don't forget to check out the other great Fangirl Zone podcasts.
You can go over to www.fangirlzone.com, check out the Contact Us page for all the ways to get a hold of us, and the podcast page for all the obvious podcasts and awesome and everything that we have. And, you know, we have some that if you happen to like the hosts here that you might enjoy, like the Star Power podcast or the Marvelous Post-Blip podcast. You know, there's a lot going on, and we think that a lot of it you'll enjoy too. So for this episode of the Mudhorn Clancast,
I'm Steve. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago from which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do.
I'm Shawn Fangirl S, and I gotta hold my nose as I jump off this pier. Hang on.
There you go. And this is Beskar Dave. You know, this episode reminded me of the time I was locked in the men's room at work. Of course, all the toilets started flooding. And let's just say there were a lot of Baby Ruth bars floating about.
Oh.
But there was an old transom over the door. And the only thing on my mind was, and everyone could say it all at once with me, one way out, one way out, one way out.